What is up, YouTube? How's everybody out there doing today? I hope you guys are having a fabulous freaking day. We're going to take a little bit of time to do a little modification that I've been talking about for a while on good old Ghost right here, guys. And I think you guys are going to be pretty darn impressed with this modification. And you might have seen it already in the beginning here, but it is a full fuel system. Well, we'll put it this way. It is a full fuel system, but as you know, I already have a full fuel system on this vehicle with two 450 pumps and a modified stock 99 and up plastic gas tank for the F-bodies. This 98 originally came with a metal gas tank. I swapped it out because I wanted to run E85, but I was running rubber line, and I used the stock bucket to put two 450s in. But one of our great, awesome buddies, and we'll show you them right now, Huron Speed, guys, look at that, said, hey, do you want to do some R&D on our fuel system for us? And I was like, yeah, send it. So they shipped out everything, even the rails. Now, I won't be using the rails because I already got rails on this vehicle, but they shipped out everything, and we did some playing around with some of the fittings, and we every damn time I try to make a video, every time the air compressor just, I want to go on now. I want to go on. All right, now we're back. Air compressor is finally done. But like I was saying, good old Huron Speed contacted me, wanted me to do some R&D on their fuel system that they're developing for the F-bodies. And yes, if you're interested, they do have fuel systems for not only the F-bodies, but they're now coming out with ones for trucks and a few other vehicles. So definitely go check out their website, link in the description below, to see what they possibly might offer. Also check out their Instagram for updates for their new fuel systems coming out for hopefully one of your vehicles that you may have and that you may be interested in doing. But basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking my old setup off, and we're pretty much just going to mirror my old setup with the new setup. Obviously this is all PTFE line, by the way, so let's show you that. It's all PTFE line, it's not rubber line, so this is all E85 compatible stuff here. Comes with a fully compatible wiring harness, so a really nice wiring harness with relays and all that fun jazz. This is my hob switch, so I'm going to be installing a hob switch on this setup to operate one pump under boost, and the other one will be operating all the time. But like I was saying, I won't be using the fuel rails because I already have fuel rails on the vehicle. So I actually, I really don't need those fuel rails. Plus, I like my black ones. But other than that, this is pretty much a complete kit with regulator, filter, and all that fun stuff. And they have a few different options too. If you talk to Huron Speed, they're going to have a few different options for a few different setups for different vehicles like the F-body. So this is one of their, I guess, their return style, supply style return style fuel system. They have a few different ones. I think they all use dual 450s, but I know they have one that uses the stock return line setup in the F-body as opposed to running a whole new return style return line. But nonetheless, very well thought out kit, very well beautifully made billet set up to hold the fuel pumps and everything. Fits down there really nice. The one thing I do want to tell you is these low profile fittings, and I'll show you this later in the video, but these low profile fittings are actually what we were working on with Huron Speed, and to make sure that you don't have to do the trapdoor mod on your F-body. So if you want a high horsepower fuel system, but you don't want to cut a hole in the back of your F-body like I have, which I did. All right, guys, so we have the new fuel system, or the new fuel pump setup. Actually, you know what? Let's get our badass thumbnail. We always got to get a cool thumbnail here. So there's our cool thumbnail, our Huron Speed dual pump setup. That's freaking awesome. So let's go ahead, stick it inside the vehicle, stick it inside the hood right here. Okay, so I'm not sure which way this is going to sit in here, to be honest. So it's going to be new. Here we go. So I guess, see, the nice thing is these have Allen keys, so they can be swapped around and moved around as needed. I can actually take these out, which I think I'm going to take them out and readjust everything. Yeah, and yeah, let's do that. Now I definitely want to show you guys what this looks like here, so you have an understanding of how well this setup is. So here we go. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. I'm doing it one-handed. So as you see, these banjo type fittings, okay, here we go. Let's pull this. There we go. There's basically a banjo type fitting that's O-ringed on both sides, which is so freaking cool. And that's what gives these fittings that low profile setup to fit underneath of a non-cut F-body setup. So you can see right there, just an example of how low that is, which is one of the cool features about this fuel pump setup, to be honest. All right, as you guys can see, I repositioned this plug here, so that way it's easier for me to plug in. Obviously, my wiring harness for this setup is gonna just get buried down here in the wheel well. I'm not gonna have it underneath the vehicle. If you're doing this obviously without a cutout in your back area here, this will all be underneath the vehicle, and obviously you'll have your power wires that run all the way up to the alternator, just like a hot wire setup from like Racetronics or something of that nature. It'd be the same philosophy, but since I have my setup already cut out, I want to make sure everything's easy access. I'm going to make sure I can get to the relays pretty easily. So my old setup, all the wiring just was basically just hidden down in there and covered up. You didn't even know if it was there unless you were looking for it. But in my case, I want to be able to, you know, race car, I want to have easy access to all this wiring in case something were to happen. So we got our seal on, we have our retainer ring on, and it fits very nice, as you can see. Sits in there beautiful. I'm going to have my supply. I'm gonna put some rags in here so no dirt gets in there. So my supply go out this way and my return go out that way, because there's my supply line and there's my return line. So I got to go underneath the vehicle and basically start yanking these old lines out of here to get ready to put the new lines in and start making these fittings. Which, if you guys know anything about PTFE stuff, PTFE stuff is really fun to deal with. And just like that, we have our beautiful Holley regulator on with our gauge. Now, in the future, I'm going to put a sensor on here too. I actually have the wiring right here for the sensor. I got to buy a new sensor that actually goes inside the car, which has an actual fuel pressure gauge as well. It's just not active right now. So that way I can read fuel pressure at the sensor. And obviously I just want to have a gauge on there just in case the sensor were to go to shit or something. I can always just rely on a actual analog, I guess you would call it an analog gauge, a liquid gauge, to make sure my fuel pressure is where it needs to be. Alrighty, we've made a lot of progress, guys. So we have our return line already hooked up and done. As you can see, I just have it following my negative cable line here for my or positive cable. Maybe that's my positive cable. I don't know what line it is, but it's all tie wrapped up really nice and neat here, going up past the engine and then fishes down away from this exhaust pipe and then right up into the regulator, which I'll show you that here in a little bit. Goes up right here in the old air box holes. This is how I'm running it, just because I have the space to be able to do that. Obviously, everybody's vehicles are going to be a little different, and you're going to have to run your lines a little differently, considering you might have a full exhaust system or something of that nature. As for the filter, so I was questioning on using these brackets for the filter here, and to be honest with you, I don't think I'm going to use them because I couldn't find a happy spot, and I really don't want to drill through the body of this car, to be honest with you. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to utilize these at all. I'm just going to make the line. I'm going to attach the filter to the line and stabilize it with some zip ties, probably, you know, along the, you know, one of these lines up here, or maybe I'll put it right here somewhere and just tie wrap it along here, or tie wrap it down here. Maybe I'll even tie wrap it on here somewhere, just to keep it out of the way. Yeah, maybe like right there or something. I'll just put it like right here and tie wrap it away from everything. But I don't want to use the brackets that are on here because I don't want to drill through the body and put holes in the body. There's already one big hole in the body, so I don't want any more big holes in the body. So we're going to go ahead and run the supply line and get that all done. I already got my line done on the back of my fuel rails, which are up in the engine bay, which you can't see. And I've got my fittings on. So all I got to do is literally run this line all the way up to the engine bay, and then it's harness time, guys. All right, everything's finished up. We got Zach in the car. We did have it running a little bit to set fuel pressure. I do have a little bit of a leak up here with these fittings, which just comes down to the O-ring. I got to do something with that. Not that big of a deal. The return line is what was leaking, and I guess when I put it in, a little bit of the threads, a little sliver of thread got in between that and the O-ring, and it was leaking a little bit. So not a big deal. Everything up here is good to go and not leaking. Everything's sealed up really, really nice. It's a little smoky in here because it's actually running a lot richer than it did before. I'm gonna show you underneath here what I did with the, the supply line. You already seen the return line. I definitely want to show you the supply line setup to give you an idea what that looks like. All right, guys, while Zach is sitting up there, we're gonna show you the supply setup. So there's my supply line. I went ahead and put my filter right there because I wanted easy access to the filter in case I need to change it or anything. No leaks, no drips, no errors. Follow the line all the way forward here, come around the back side or the front side, and then up into the engine bay where it goes into the fuel rail. So yeah, that works out pretty good, guys, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, that works out pretty good, guys. Pretty freaking good. Let's let Zach down off the lift here so we can park it. And I gotta put my bracket on. I got a nice throttle bracket for it now too, which the other one was trashed. But let's let him down here. I know he's anxious.
I'm scared of ice.
What's that?
I'm scared of ice.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Who wants to see Zach drive the bird? I don't think Zach could handle the clutch, to be honest. So there's a few little things obviously I want to do. I'll put my linkage on and I changed the belt. But other than that, guys, the new Huron Speed fuel system is completely done. We're unfortunately probably gonna have to go back to the dyno with this car eventually to lean it out, because it does seem to be running a little richer than normal, and it is smoking out the tailpipe pretty good. And I think it's just because it's overly rich. But that shouldn't be nothing but to take maybe, 5% fuel out, 10% fuel out to get it back up in the stored metric where it needs to be in wide open throttle. But the car is more than drivable, which is a good thing. So I could also street tune it a little bit and have some fun there. So that's not terrible as well. So yeah, it's not gonna blow up, which is also good. But there you go, guys. Short little video on how to put this new Huron Speed fuel system in. Very, very happy with the quality of this fuel system. Comes with extra fittings for the most part. The way I set it up, I have extra fittings and stuff now if I need extra fittings. But yeah, it's pretty much a universal kit for the most part. Basically, the only thing I see here that is more geared towards each vehicle is the fuel pump assembly setup. All depending on if you have a truck or an F-body or whatever other car they possibly might be making these for, that's probably what the only difference is. Other than that, you get 20 feet of line. Well, this kit came with 20 feet of line and all the fittings, and like I said, I had extra fittings left over, which is a good thing, especially the way I hooked it up. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and obviously hit that notification bell. There's going to be more content on Ghost, on the Duramax, on other stuff here at the shop, and I think you guys are going to be pretty excited to see it. So thank you, and deuces, guys.